Jimbo Fisher is flame-throwing Nick Saban.
This was so predictable.
I mean, usually, let's bring everybody up to speed as to why. In what I would have thought would have been one of the most innocuous press conferences ever held, Nick Saban was speaking in front of local business leaders in Birmingham yesterday for an event promoting the World Games, which come to Alabama in July. I don't know what the hell the World Games even are, but the World Games are going to be in Alabama in July. Nick Saban was there to promote it. In the middle of that, he talked for 7 minutes. In the middle of it, Nick Saban says, and I'm going to read as much of this as I can from Yahoo, about NIL, name, image, and likeness. Players making money off their name, image, and likeness.
Yeah.
Gator's so excited. I think the entire college football season just went from being, it just went to 11.
Totally.
Saban says, our players last year created $3 million worth of opportunity for themselves by doing it the right way. I have no problem with that. And nobody had a problem on our team because the guys who got the money earned it. The issue and the problem with name, image, and likeness is coaches trying to create an advantage for themselves. The Yahoo story goes on. He then went on to describe a scenario in which programs hire outside agencies funded by boosters and then funnel money to players based on what coaches promised them as recruits. He said Alabama does not do that. He believes that other programs do, and that he creates a situation in which recruits demand programs like Alabama meet these offers or miss out on their services. And that he believes represents the beginning of the end of college sports. Now, let me just say, the NIL rules, at the beginning, the NCAA laid them out.
Yep.
Nobody followed them. The NCAA just came back and said, you cannot offer prospective student-athletes NIL deals. In fact, universities can't have anything to do with it. It's deals they strike on their own with boosters once they are student-athletes. But you cannot promise them NIL deals. And that's always been the rule. We've talked about it on the air. We've heard about all the. Nobody cared. It became Wild West. Programs are setting it up. You have basketball recruits meeting with FedEx in Memphis. You got football recruits getting $50,000 just for being on the roster as an offensive lineman in Texas, which is something else that is illegal. You can't get a deal just because you're an offensive lineman in Texas.
This is so fantastic on a million fronts, and there's so many more things we're going to get to. But let me just getting back to. Keep in mind who Nick Saban's audience is right now when he's doing this.
It's a bunch of Alabama.
Local business leaders Wednesday night in Birmingham, Alabama. So one of the other things he said was, quote, I mean, we were second in recruiting last year. A&M was first. A&M bought every player on their team, made a deal for name, image, likeness. We didn't buy one player, all right? But I don't know if we're going to be able to sustain that in the future because more and more people are doing it. It's tough.
Okay, so he's telling business leaders in Alabama,
step it up.
Pay our players more.
Right. I don't think we can do it the way we're doing it. We're going to have to come up with another way. Guys, empty your pockets out so we can stay on top.
But then the fact that he brings up Texas A&M.
Right.
And how they bought their entire class.
Because they had all these 5-star recruits that they got in the 1 year.
One of my first thoughts was, oh, my God, are coaches going to start narking on each other?
Yep.
Snitches get SEC championships? Is that what's going to happen now?
I mean.
Because remember, Harbaugh kind of did this with Ryan Day, circumventing the rules during COVID. And now you've got Saban going a next step. I mean, this is next stepping it.
Kind of the first shots fired came back in February with Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin, the Ole Miss coach, former Alabama assistant as well, he said Texas A&M was going to incur a luxury tax in how much they paid for their signing class. So he says that according to the ESPN story, that prompted a stern response from A&M coach Jimbo Fisher, a former Saban assistant. Don't forget that. During his signing day news conference the following day when he said the coach is spreading rumors about deals promised to recruits were, quote, clown acts and irresponsible as hell. So you had Lane Kiffin fire the shots, but it's Lane Kiffin, so Jimbo says what he says and moves on. Nick Saban talking to local business leaders in Alabama. Now, I don't know if he just got so comfortable talking with these guys he forgot that, hey, everyone's got a recorder, or if he was actually in front of a microphone. I don't know how these quotes came out. But if you're that comfortable talking to boosters, effectively is what it is, and you're going to drop something like that, you know it's going to get out, and now it got out, and Jimbo Fisher is not happy.
Jimbo Fisher is currently going nuclear, and we are getting the sound. He is lighting Saban up.
Man.
Now, and we're putting the sound in the system. Hopefully we'll have it for you shortly. Saban is 70 years old. So is that the age where you don't care
anymore? He's well past the age where he doesn't care anymore.
Yeah. On top of that, he's been the king of college football, best coach of college football for a long time. This is spectacular.
This is, as I like to say, Doug, this is delicious. Just enjoy it. Because this is what's going to happen now. We wondered aloud, are they going to police themselves? What's going to happen here when it comes? Yeah, they're policing themselves. So here's what's happened.
Because the NCAA put out these rules, schools not only weren't following it, they were kind of flaunting it. And the reaction now is coaches clear. This feels like it opens the floodgates for them to police themselves and start narking on each other. October 8th, Texas A&M travels to Alabama.
Oh, good luck with that. That's going to be fun. Pack a lunch.
Well, Coach Jimbo Fisher was just asked about the October 8th meeting with Alabama. He responded with, "It'll be fun, won't it? I don't mind confrontation. I've lived with it my whole life. I kind of like it myself. Backing away from it, that's not how I was raised."
Okay, before we get the sound in the system, Dan Wetzel, I'm going to read these tweets. Jimbo Fisher says Saban's comments, quote, despicable. Calls Saban, quote, a narcissist. More from Wetzel. He's daring people to dig into God and how he has done things, referring to Saban as God. Ugh. Dig into how he has done things. Apparently, Saban tried to call Jimbo this morning. He wouldn't take the call. Jimbo says, we're done. Dan Wetzel, again on Twitter, more from Jimbo Fisher. You coach with people like Bobby Bowden and learn how to do things. You coach with other people and you learn how not to do things. Now he's hammering Saban for his operations and tactics, all but declaring that Saban has been violating NCAA rules for years. Jimbo, I don't cheat. I don't lie. I learned that as a kid. Old man would slap you upside the head. Maybe somebody should have slapped Saban.
Wow.
I mean,
maybe somebody should have slapped Saban? What is going on, Juwan Howard now? What's going on here?
When you walk on water, I guess it doesn't matter.
It's so good.
He's the greatest ever. When you have all the advantages, it's easy. Wow. Wow.
I mean, we had we think that Pat Narduzzi and Pitt is really unhappy about the potential recruiting going on for their star receiver from USC is involved, and Lincoln Riley is involved, and having a deal done in place, and that kind of put the wheels into motion with the NCAA coming out with their statement a couple weeks ago. This is incendiary, to say the least. I love it because it's going to – honestly, Doug, I think this could make college football better.
Honestly, yeah.
Because it's keeping people as honest as they can possibly keep until you get like gentlemen's agreements like, hey, listen, I know you guys are going to pay this kid $1 million, okay? We won't battle with you. But don't battle with us on this kid because there's going to be arrangements made.
But think about how unrealistic the NIL rules are. Do not use this to recruit. You can't set it up. The players have to do it themselves. How do they expect the schools to follow those rules? So, I mean, if everybody follows the rules, universities aren't allowed to have anything to do with it. Athletic departments aren't supposed to set it up. They're not supposed to provide a list to boosters of who their top recruits are. And they're not supposed to provide a list to the players who are the boosters that will pay them. You're supposed to be completely out of it.
It's really not hard to get it done, but you're not supposed to do any of this. It's not hard for the a booster to go to a website and find out who the top recruits are. It's not hard. They can do it.
Fisher responding on Saban wanting unified NIL rules. He goes, the government needs to step in. What's funny is in that talk right before he said those things about us, wasn't he soliciting funds?
Yes.
Yes.
Essentially, he
Yes,
was.
he was.
He was absolutely 100%
Because I got nothing
doing
to
it.
hide. Our program has nothing to hide. I'd be interested if everybody could say that.
I feel like if somebody was like, if this was done with a cell phone camera, that like Nick was just talking to guys in the corner, then somebody wanted to say, hey, Nick, we're recording this. And then he would go, what's that?